the laugh echoed by the parking lot of Fictional Industries as a shot. Clara Santos, 34, was standing next to her old bike when Marcus Hale, the company's CEO, a 3,000 suit, a clock that cost more than a car, pointed to her in front of 15 executives. "Really? Are you going to participate in the corporate race?" Clara felt the heat go up her face, not of shame, of contained anger. She had 120 pounds, worked as an administrative assistant for 6 years, and had never asked for anything but respect. Now Marcus was transforming the company's annual charity event into its private circus. "I'm going, Mr. Hale," she answered, a firm voice. "Look," Marcus approached, smile of shark on his lips. "I admire courage, really, but this race is 10 kilometers. Are you sure your body can handle?" Nerve laughs around. Clara saw Jennifer from accounting look away. See Tom from marketing pretend to check the cell phone. No one would defend her, never defended. Fictional Industries was in the heart of Seattle, a mirrored glass building that reflected the gray clouds of the American Northwest. Clara worked on the 12th floor at a table leaning against the wall, away from the windows with a privileged view. 6 years organizing agendas, preparing reports, being invisible. 6 years listening to jokes disguised as concern. "My body can handle what I send," Clara said. Marcus stepped back, open arms as if on stage. He loved the audience. I loved power, and he loved to turn people into entertainment. "Okay, how about a bet? If you finish the race, you don't even have to win. Just arrive at the end. I double your salary, for a whole year." The parking lot was silent. Even the cars seemed to have stopped working. Clara did the math mentally. Her bent salary meant almost $60,000 extra dollars. Enough money to cover all the mother's medical debts, enough money to breathe again. "What if I can't?" Clara asked, already knowing the answer. "You get away, here and now, in front of everyone." Marcus crossed his arms, smile increasing. He had planned that. Clara realized for the brightness in his eyes the way other executives were already exchanging accomplices. That was not improvised. It was scheduled public execution. Clara recalled the last team meeting when Marcus had talked about culture of excellence and high standards. He had looked straight at her by saying that the company needed people who represented the best of TechVision. Everyone had understood the message. She also remembered 3 years ago, before medical accounts drained all economies, before you need to sell the car, before accepting a second job in a laundry to pay the experimental medicines that the health plan rejected. 3 years ago, Clara had been someone else. "I accept," she said. Marcus reached out, tight, too firm, too poisonous smile. "Perfect. The race is Saturday, 7 in the morning, Green Lake Park. Don't be late, if you're going to appear." More laughs. Jennifer had the decency to seem uncomfortable. Tom was already typing on his cell phone, probably updating the WhatsApp group about the epic bet of Marcus. Clara mounted on the bicycle, a 1987 Schwinn that had belonged to her father, and began cycling. Her knees hurt after 8 hours standing in the laundry, but she kept her back straight. It was not going to give Marcus the satisfaction of seeing her bend. While riding the Riverside Avenue, the cold October wind cutting his face, Clara thought at all the moments she had swallowed humiliation. The laundry manager jokes about saving fabric when she ordered a bigger uniform, the neighbor offering unquency diet tips, the doctor who ignored his complaints of ankle pain because it was a matter of losing weight. But Marcus Hale had made a mistake that was going to be expensive, because what Marcus didn't know, what no one at TechVision knew, was that Clara Santos had not spent the last 3 years just surviving. She had become an expert in one thing: resistance. 2 hours a day on the wake of the Barada Community Academy, 40 minutes of weight with makeshift weights in the apartment, interval training while waiting for laundry machines to complete the cycles. Clara didn't train to be thin. I trained not to give up. And there was something else, a small detail that Marcus was going to find out at the worst possible time. Before he needed 2 jobs, before medical debts, before becoming invisible on the 12th floor, Clara had been part of a team that Marcus thought had only existed at elite universities and expensive clubs. She parked the bike in the tight hall of the building where she lived, a in a 3-story housing development on the outskirts of Seattle, and went up the stairs. Apartment 2B, 28 square meters that smelled of industrial detergent and stubborn hope. Her mother, Dolores, sat in her wheelchair by the window, looking out at the city lights. "How was your day, my daughter?" Clara hugged her mother from behind, kissed her gray hair. "Interesting, very interesting." She didn't tell him about Marcus. He didn't tell him about the bet. Dolores already carried enough guilt for being sick, for needing expensive medicine, for disrupting her daughter's life. But as she prepared dinner, pasta with homemade tomato sauce, cheap protein creatively stretched, Clara smiled. Marcus Hale had 5 days to enjoy his arrogance, because on Saturday morning at 7 o'clock in Green Lake Park, everyone was going to find out who Clara Santos really was. and the humiliation he had planned for her would become the biggest mistake of his career. Clara opened the dresser drawer, underneath the old clothes, and took out a dusty medal. Bronze, Regional Marathon Championship, under 23 category. 8 years ago, before everything fell apart, she had finished a 26-mile marathon in 3 hours and 42 minutes. 10 kilometers? 10 kilometers were a warm-up. If you're enjoying this story, don't forget to subscribe to the channel. The turnaround will be epic. The next morning, Clara arrived at work 15 minutes early, as always. The 12th floor of Tech Vision was still silent, just the hum of computers and the smell of stale coffee in the air. She organized her desk, turned on the system, opened the first spreadsheet of the day. Normal behavior, normal routine. But when the office started to fill up, Clara realized that nothing was normal. Jennifer walked past her without saying good morning. Tom pretended not to see her near the printer. Even Sarah, at reception, who had always been kind, looked away when Clara entered the elevator. The news had spread. At lunchtime, Clara went to the pantry to get her lunchbox. When he pushed open the door, he found Marcus sitting at the central table, surrounded by 5 managers. Everyone stopped talking when she entered. "Ah, Clara," Marcus said, voice too loud, too theatrical. "Just the person I wanted to see. How are the preparations for the race going?" Clara opened the refrigerator and took out her lunchbox. "Doing well, Mr. Hale." "Really? Because I was thinking, maybe you want to give up now. No shame. We cancel the bet. You keep your job. Everyone's happy." He tilted his head, the smile of someone offering mercy. Clara closed the refrigerator, turned to him. "Why would I give up?" Marcus laughed. It wasn't a genuine laugh. It was the kind of sound people make when they want others to laugh along with them. "Look, I understand pride, but 10 kilometers? Clara, be realistic. You can barely walk up the stairs without getting out of breath." Silence in the pantry. Jennifer looked at her sandwich as if it were the most interesting thing in the world. One of the managers, Robert, a 50-year-old man whom Clara had always respected, cleared his throat uncomfortably. "Marcus, maybe what, Robert?" Marcus cut in, eyes still fixed on Clara. "I'm being honest. I'm trying to spare her further public humiliation." Clara opened the lunchbox. Rice, beans, shredded chicken that I had cooked on Sunday for the whole week. Simple, functional food. "I'm going for a run, Mr. Hale. Saturday, 7 in the morning." "It's okay." Marcus raised his hands in mock surrender. "Your choice. But when you give up at mile 3, don't say I didn't warn you." Clara ate in silence while the others returned to their conversations. But she felt the stares. I felt pity disguised as concern. I felt contempt disguised as realism. In the afternoon, when he returned to his desk, he found a post-it stuck to his monitor. "You don't need to prove anything. Give up before you get hurt." Lyrics by Jennifer. Clara crumpled the paper and threw it in the trash. 2 hours later, another post-it. "Marcus has already hired a photographer for the race. He wants to record when you drop out." This one had no signature. Clara put it in her pocket. When work ended, she went straight to the laundry room. Shift from 6 to 10 at night 4 times a week. The manager, a short man named Eddie, was counting money at the register when she arrived. "Late, Santos." 3 minutes, Eddie." 3 minutes is 3 minutes. Be careful." Clara put on her uniform, a blue polo shirt that stretched over her shoulders, and began sorting clothes. White, colorful, delicate, mechanical work that left the mind free to think. She thought of Marcus. He thought about the photographer. She thought about the public humiliation he was planning. But mostly, he thought about something he had noticed that morning when he checked the club's list of subscribers, ordered on the official website. Marcus had registered too. The Tech Vision Industries CEO, a man who paid personal trainer and posted gym photos on corporate Instagram, was going to run the same 10 kilometers. Interesting, very interesting. At 9:30, when Eddie went to the bathroom, Clara took her cell phone, opened the Instagram. He sought Marcus Hale's profile. Last post, his photo on the treadmill, sweaty, convinced smile. Caption, "Preparation for the charity race. 10 kilometers, heating." 340 likes. 20 comments praising your dedication. Clara rolled the feed. More gym photos, photos of corporate events, photos in expensive restaurants, a lifetime documented to impress strangers. Then she saw something that made her blood freeze. A picture of 3 weeks ago, Marcus on a stage, receiving a prize. CEO of the Year, Innovation and Leadership category. At the bottom of the photo, unfocused but visible, a woman holding a sign. Clara Zoom. The woman was fat. The plate said, "Tech Vision Tower Discrimination." Clara saved the image, sought more, found a small article on a local news site. Protest discreet marks controversial CEO awards. Former employee alleges dismissal for fatophobia. The article had been published, then removed. But the internet does not forget. Clara found archived versions, read everything. The former employee was named Diane Morris. He had worked at Tech Vision for 9 years. It was fired 3 months ago, officially for restructuring, unofficially because Marcus had said in a meeting that she no longer had the dynamic profile that the company was looking for. Diane had entered with process. The process had been filed by lack of evidence. Clara closed her cell phone when Eddie returned. It ended the shift in silence, mind working at full speed. When she got home almost midnight, her mother was already sleeping. Clara took a quick shower, ate 2 bread, cooked eggs, went to the bedroom, opened the drawer. He took the bronze medal, but this time, it also got something else that was hidden in the background, under old papers, a diploma, Bachelor of Computer Science, University of Washington. Clara had formed 10 years ago. He had worked 3 years as a junior developer in a startup. It had been good, very good. Then the mother got sick. The startup went bankrupt. The debts arrived. And Clara accepted what she got, administrative work that paid the bills. She kept the diploma back. Marcus Hale thought he knew Clara Santos. She thought she was just a fat, desperate assistant who was going to humiliate herself for money. But Marcus had no idea who he was dealing with, because Clara was not just going to run 10 kilometers. She was going to destroy the perfect image that Marcus had built. I was going to expose the hidden rot behind the magazine smile. He was going to make him realize that underestimating people was the most expensive mistake someone could make. And on Friday night, the eve of the race, when Clara received an anonymous email with internal Tech Vision documents showing a standard of systematic discrimination against plus-size employees, she knew exactly what to do. The sender of the email was just an initial. Diane Morris had not given up, and now, Clara Santos didn't go either. Saturday morning, 7 hours, Green Lake Park. Marcus Hale was going to learn a lesson that no MBA teaches. Never humiliate someone who has nothing more to lose, because people like that become unmayable. Friday, 1 day before the race. Clara woke up at 5 in the morning, as always. He prepared coffee, helped his mother in the bath, left lunch ready. Routine that had turned automatic in the last 3 years. But today it was different. Today she had a plan. At 6:30, Clara was sitting in the tiny kitchen of the apartment, old laptop opened on the table. Diane Morris's email shown on the screen. Attachments in PDF. Tech Vision internal documents that should never have leaked. Altered performance evaluations. Emails where Marcus ordered managers to reconsider hiring plus-size candidates. Tables showing that overweight employees received 60% slower promotions than others, even with higher performance. 3 years of systematic, documented, undeniable discrimination. Clara copied everything to a pen drive he kept in his pocket of jeans. At 7, she was pedaling to work when her cell phone rang. Unknown number. Hello? Clara Santos? Female, professional. Careful voice. Yes, my name is Diane Morris. I think you received my email. Clara stopped pedaling. He leaned his bike on a post. A rapid heart. I received. How did you get this? I worked 9 years at Tech Vision. I knew the systems. I knew where to look. Diane paused. Marcus Hale ruined my career. It made me look incompetent when I was one of the best analysts in the company, all because he didn't like having a fat woman in meetings with investors. Clara closed her eyes. He took a deep breath. Why are you helping me? Because I saw what he did to you in the parking lot. Jennifer told me, and I know Marcus well enough to know he didn't make that bet by chance. Diane's voice hardened. He has a plan. Something worse than just humiliating you in the race. What do you know? He hired the company's marketing team to do live coverage. Instagram, TikTok, corporate page. The entire race will be broadcast. He wants everyone to see you give up. He wants to turn this into a campaign about realism and knowing your limits. Clara felt nausea rising in her throat. How many people are going to watch? Tech Vision has 42,000 followers on Instagram. Marcus has another 23,000. He has already made 3 posts laying the groundwork. He called it an inspiring experience about overcoming and acceptance. Acceptance, the word people use when they want you to stay in your place. Diane, I'm going to finish this race. Silence on the other side. Then a short, humorless laugh. You don't understand. Marcus is going to make sure you don't finish. He has something planned. I don't know what, but I know him. He always has an ace up his sleeve. Clara looked up at the gray Seattle sky. Heavy clouds promising rain. Then I need an ace too. That's why I called. Diane took a deep breath. I have a friend, investigative journalist, works for the Seattle Tribune. If you can get visual evidence of his sabotage tomorrow combined with the documents I sent you, we can put an end to Tech Vision. To finish, lawsuits, public investigation, corporate scandal. Marcus Hale is going to lose everything. Clara thought about her mother. He thought about the medical bills. He thought about the tiny apartment that barely fit the 2 of them. She thought of all the women like her and Diane, crushed by men like Marcus. Give me the journalist's contact information. 15 minutes later, Clara was in a cheap coffee shop near work. sitting across from a man in his 40s. Messy hair, thick-rimmed glasses, digital recorder on the table. David Chen, nice to meet you. Clara Santos. David pushed a cup of coffee towards her. Diane told me everything. The documents are gold, but I need more. I need to catch Marcus committing the crime live. What kind of crime? Sabotage, conspiracy, documented moral harassment, anything that proves the bet wasn't random, that it was premeditated to destroy you. Clara stirred the unsweetened coffee. Bitter, strong, just like the moment. How do I do this? David took a small object out of his pocket. A discreet, beautiful silver brooch. Camera. Battery lasts 4 hours. Records in high definition. You wear it on your shirt during the race. Captures everything. Clara took the brooch. Light. Harmless. That's great. Washington is a dual consent state for private recordings. But public event? Totally legal. You're just documenting your own experience. Clara attached the brooch to the collar of her shirt. Perfect. Invisible. Marcus will try to sabotage you mid-race, David continued. It could be something physical, it could be psychological, it could be that there are people planted along the way. You need to endure it, you need to keep going, and you need to record everything. I'll take it. David smiled. It was a sad smile, from someone who has seen a lot of injustice. Diane told me you have marathon experience. It was 8 years ago. Muscle memory doesn't forget. Your body remembers. Clara finished her coffee. He got up. Tomorrow, 7 in the morning, Green Lake Park. I'll be there, at the finish line, with lawyers. She left the coffee shop and went straight to work. The 12th floor was buzzing. Everyone was talking about the race. Marcus had spread the news like it was the event of the century. Jennifer approached Clara's table during lunch. Are you sure about this? Clara didn't even look up from the spreadsheet. Absolute. Marcus is different today. Too excited. I think he has something planned. I know. Jennifer lowered her voice. He hired the camera crew. He's going to broadcast it live. Clara, this could kill you. Now Clara looked at her. Jennifer had red eyes, as if she had been crying recently. Or you can finish him off. Jennifer opened her mouth. It closed. He left without saying anything else. At 5 in the afternoon, when everyone was leaving, Marcus walked by Clara's table. Ready for tomorrow, champ? Clara saved the file, turned off the computer. Ready? Good. Because I am too. Marcus leaned in, voice low, venomous. You know, Clara, I admire your stubbornness. I really do. But tomorrow you're going to learn an important lesson about knowing your place. He walked away laughing, greeting other executives. Clara packed her things. He took the backpack. It went out. But before going to the wash she made a stop. Community Academy. $5 a day. Old equipment. Cracked mirrors. Smell of sweat and disinfectant. Clara climbed the treadmill. Programmed 10 kilometers. Moderate speed. And ran. Knees hurt in the first 2 kilometers. Lungs burned in the room. Mind shouted to stop in the 7th, but Clara didn't stop, because pain was temporary, humiliation was permanent, and the next day Marcus Hale was going to find out that underestimating Clara Santos was the biggest mistake he made in his life. When she finished 10 kilometers, sweaty, exhausted, victorious, she checked the time. 1 hour and 8 minutes. It was not the time 8 years ago, but it was enough, more than enough. Clara took a shower, went to the laundry, worked until midnight. He returned home. He kissed his mother's forehead sleeping. He lay on the bed, bronze medal in his hand, camera brooch on the nightstand. Tomorrow at dawn the war would begin, and Marcus Hale had no idea the enemy he had created. Saturday, 6:40 in the morning, Green Lake Park was packed. 300 corridors warm, stretching, adjusting expensive sneakers and smartwatches. Tech vision stalls scattered around the lawn. Corporate banners flutter in Seattle's cold wind. And cameras, many cameras. Clara arrived by bike at 6:50. He parked away from the crowd, checked the brooch attached to his navy blue race shirt. The tiny red light was on, recording. She walked to the starting area. Immediately he felt his eyes. He heard the whispers. It's her, the one who made the bet with Marcus. Poor. It won't pass from kilometer 2. Marcus was in the center of everything, surrounded by executives and the filming team. 3 professional cameras, 2 drones, 5 tripod cell phones for live broadcast. He wore face racing clothes, limited editing sneakers, tech vision cap. When she saw Clara, her smile widened. She came. Guys, she really came. False applause. Nervous laughs. Marcus approached. Open arms as if receiving a celebrity. Clara, what a courage, what a determination. He looked at the cameras. Are you seeing this? This is Clara Santos, my employee who accepted the challenge of the decade. 10 kilometers. If she finishes, I double her salary for a year. The crowd murmured. Clara kept her face neutral. Ready to start, Mr. Hale? Ah, more than ready. But before, Marcus motioned for someone in the crowd. I brought you a gift. A man approached carrying a box. Marcus opened with exaggerated drama. Inside, an official race number of the race. Number 500. Special for you. Last number available. Symbolic, don't you think? Clara took the number. He arrested on his shirt without saying anything. Around, people exchanged uncomfortable looks. Jennifer was there near Tom. She couldn't look at Clara, but David Chen was there too. Disguised in the crowd, discreet camera in hand, Diane Morris was behind, hooded over her head, a cell phone pointed out. At 7 o'clock, the start was given. 300 corridors exploded forward. Clara started slowly, controlled pace, measured breath. The route was full return on the lake. 10 kilometers, flat land, well-maintained asphalt. Marcus ran next to her in the first 500 meters, filming team following by bicycle. Are you okay, Clara? Do you need water? Do you need to stop? I am great. Impressive, but look. No problem giving up. No one will judge you. Clara didn't answer, kept the rhythm. Marcus accelerated, exceeded dozens of corridors, disappeared in front. First kilometer. Clara maintained constant speed. Knees protested, but she ignored it. Second kilometer. Some runners began to slow down. Clara passed them, heavy but controlled breath. Third kilometer. That's when it started. A woman of pink and sports shorts approached by Clara. Wide smile. Fake. You're going very fast. You have to slow down or there will be a heart problem. Clara looked at her. I didn't know the woman. I had never seen it. I am well, thank you. No, really. My cousin is a doctor. People with your profile, they shouldn't force the heart like that. The woman kept the rhythm next to Clara, speaking nonstop, distracting, breaking concentration. Clara realized. First sabotage. She accelerated. The woman could not accompany. She was behind. Quarter kilometer. A gray, bearded man emerged in front of Clara, purposely slowing down, blocking the passage. She deflected the grass. He deflected too. Sorry, I didn't see you, he said, laughing. Second sabotage. Clara surpassed him on the other side, almost tripping over an exposed route. Fifth kilometer, half of the route. Clara was sweaty, panting, but kept the pace. Then he saw Marcus stopped at a hydration station surrounded by cameras giving interview the, of course I admire her effort. But realism is important. Knowing our limits is wisdom, not weakness. He saw Clara approaching. He interrupted the interview and ran towards her. Clara, you've come this far, incredible, but look. He lowered his voice, feigning concern. Your lips are blue. I think you have hypothermia. We need to stop. Call the paramedics. Clara got a glass of water at the station. Drank. My lips have always been like this, I still do. Clara, I can't let you get hurt. As your employer, I have a responsibility. You have a responsibility to honor the bet. I continue. She threw the cup in the trash and resumed running. Marcus stood still, mask of concern slipping for a second. Clara saw pure anger in his eyes. The camera in the brooch recorded everything. Sixth kilometer. Clara's legs felt as heavy as concrete. Every step was negotiation with the body. But she had done this before. 8 years ago when he ran 42 kilometers. 10 was nothing. 10 was just stubborn. Seventh kilometer. Marcus passed Clara again. Camera crew alongside. Look guys, I'm going to finish now. But the real hero today is Clara, who is doing her best. Sometimes trying is victory enough. He accelerated, disappeared ahead. Eighth kilometer. Clara saw the finish line in the distance. There was still a long way to go, but it was visible. His heart raced, not out of fear, of anticipation. That's when she heard the screaming. Marcus had crossed the finish line. Applause, cheers, cameras capturing his moment of glory. He raised his arms, smile huge, performance sweat glistening on his face. 9 kilometers in 43 minutes. New personal record. The crowd celebrated. Marcus gave an interview to 3 cameras at the same time. The important thing is to always do your best, push limits, inspire others. Then someone screamed, "She's coming." Everyone turned. Clara was at the 9th kilometer, visible in the distance. Body leaning forward, arms pumping, legs moving with mechanical determination. Marcus's smile faltered. Impossible, he muttered. But it was possible. Clara was arriving. 9th kilometer. Every step was agony. Each breath ripped through the lungs. But she saw the finish line. I saw Marcus standing there, surrounded by cameras. I saw Jennifer with her hands over her mouth. I saw Tom filming with his cell phone. I saw David Chen standing next to the line, recording everything. Clara crossed the 10-kilometer mark, crossed the finish line. It stopped. He bent his body, hands on his knees, trying to breathe. Absolute silence. 300 people looking in disbelief. Then someone started applauding. Slowly, hesitantly. Others joined. Within seconds, the entire park was cheering. Clara straightened up, sweaty, exhausted, victorious. Marcus was white, completely white. He looked at the cameras, at the executives, at the cheering crowd. Well, she did it. How? Impressive. Clara walked towards him. It stopped a foot from his face. 60 seconds. What? 1 hour, 9 minutes and 20 seconds, my time. Clara smiled. It wasn't a kind smile. Do you want to know something interesting, Mr. Hale? 8 years ago, I ran a marathon, 42 kilometers, under 23 category. I finished third in the regional. Marcus blinked. Processing. 10 kilometers? Clara continued, voice loud enough for everyone to hear. 10 kilometers was always a warm-up for me. The crowd exploded. Applause, screams, cheers. Jennifer was crying. Tom filmed everything, mouth open. Marcus tried to smile for the cameras, but he looked like a drowning man. Well, I always knew you had potential. No, you didn't know. Clara took the brooch off her shirt, showed it to him. But now everyone will know who you really are. David Chen approached, journalist credentials hanging around his neck. Marcus Hale, David Chen, Seattle Tribune. Can we talk about the pattern of systematic discrimination at Tech Vision Industries? I have some pretty interesting internal documents here. Marcus's face turned gray. Diane Morris stepped out of the crowd, hood down, eyes fixed on Marcus. Hi, Marcus. Remember me? Marcus staggered back, looking around like a cornered animal. The cameras captured everything, and thousands of people watched live as the perfect CEO, the man who humiliated employees for weight, crumbled in real time. Clara crossed her arms. About doubling my salary. Marcus Hale tried to speak. He opened his mouth. It closed. He looked at the cameras broadcasting live, at the Tech Vision executives frozen in shock, at the thousands of people watching on their cell phones. So he did the only thing men like him do when cornered. He tried to control the narrative. Look, I think there's a misunderstanding here. There is no misunderstanding, David Chen interrupted, tablet in hand. I have UI changed performance reviews, emails from you ordering managers not to hire overweight candidates, reports showing systematic discrimination. Do you want me to read it out loud? The cameras are recording. The crowd was silent. Jennifer covered her mouth with her hands. Tom lowered his cell phone, face pale. Marcus looked at Clara. It was no longer the look of superiority. It was pure desperation. Clara, you don't understand. This will hurt the company. It will hurt you too. No, Clara said, voice firm. This will hurt you. The company will survive. It always survives when it cuts out the cancer. Diane Morris approached, stopping next to Clara. 9 years, Marcus. I gave 9 years of my life to Tech Vision. I was the best analyst in the department. I won 3 internal awards, but you fired me because I didn't fit into your aesthetic vision of the company. Marcus took a step back. Diane, that was the board's decision. Lie. Diane showed her own cell phone. I have the email you sent to HR. Do you want me to read it? We need people who represent excellence visually. Diane does not project the image we are looking for. Live streaming exploded. Angry comments flooding social media. Hashtags being born in real time. Tech Vision exposed. Marcus Hale cancelled. Corporate fat phobia. Robert, the manager who had tried to defend Clara in the cup, stepped forward. Marcus, I can't work like this anymore. I quit. Other executives began to back away, physically distancing themselves from Marcus. Jennifer looked at Clara, tears streaming. I'm sorry. I should have said something. I knew, and I didn't do anything. Clara took a deep breath. The anger was there, burning. But she had learned something in the last 3 years. Anger without direction is just poison. Channeled anger is justice. Jennifer, you can do something now. You can testify. Jennifer wiped away her tears. He nodded. David Chen put away the tablet. Mr. Hale, the Seattle Tribune will publish the full report on Monday. I have statements from 17 former employees documenting a pattern of discrimination. I have the internal documents, and now I have this entire race on tape, showing your attempted sabotage. He looked at the cameras. The public has seen it all. There's no going back. Marcus staggered. He sought support, but the executives moved away like water running away from oil. I can explain. You can't, Clara said, because there is no explanation. There is only what you are, a small man who needed to make others smaller to feel big. The crowd burst into applause. Clara turned her back to Marcus and started walking. Diane by your side. David Chen right behind, recording everything. Marcus shouted, Clara, the bet. You're done, so I'll double your salary. See, I honor my word. Clara stopped. He turned slowly. No, you don't honor anything. She walked back, stopped 2 meters from him. I don't want your dirty money. I want justice. Justice? You got justice. You won. I won a race. But Diane didn't win her job back. The other women you fired didn't get their careers back. The candidates you rejected out of prejudice didn't get their opportunities back. Clara took the number 500 off her chest. He threw it at his feet. Then no, I don't want anything from you. I want you to lose everything. She turned and walked away. 25 Monday, 2 weeks later. The Seattle Tribune published a cover story, 12 pages, 17 testimonies, internal documents, race recordings, analysis of systemic discriminatory patterns. Tech Vision Industries has entered a crisis. Shares fell 34% in 2 days. Administrative Council called an emergency meeting. Marcus Hale was fired. No compensation. With ongoing criminal investigation for discrimination and moral harassment. Clara was at home preparing coffee when the phone rang. Hello? Clara Santos. This is Helena Vasquez from the Tech Vision Board. Clara sat on the tiny kitchen chair. I'm listening. We would like to offer formal compensation for the years of poor treatment you have suffered. We would also like to offer you a position, not as an administrative assistant, as a diversity and inclusion consultant. Starting salary of $120,000 a year, full benefits, empowerment to implement real change. Clara looked out the window. I could see the glass Tech Vision Industries building in the distance, shining in the rare Seattle sun. And Diane Morris? Pause. Then, we are negotiating an agreement with her as well. Reinstatement to the position with promotion. Retroactive compensation. What about the other 16 people who testified? Individual review process. Offers being prepared. Clara closed her eyes. He took a deep breath. I accept. Under one condition. Which? Hiring policy based exclusively on competence. Zero tolerance went to discrimination of any kind. And I want real autonomy, not decorative post. You have my word. And the council's unanimous vote. Clara hung up. He looked at his mother, who had heard everything from her wheelchair near the table. My daughter did it, Dolores said, eyes shining. You were always strong. I always knew. Clara hugged her mother. For the first time in 3 years he cried. Not out of sadness, of relief, of victory, of justice finally achieved. 3 months later, Clara was on the 12th floor of Tech Vision, but now she had her own office. Window overlooking the lake, spacious table, sign on the door. Clara Santos, Director of Diversity and Inclusion. She had implemented mandatory training for all employees, revised hiring processes, anonymous reporting channel created. Within 3 months, the company culture had begun to change. Diane worked upstairs, now senior manager. They had lunch together every Wednesday. Jennifer had become an ally, not out of guilt, but out of conviction. I had helped Clara identify and correct dozens of problematic policies. Marcus Hale, last news Clara had heard, he was unemployed, facing 3 lawsuits, abandoned by friends and investors. The man who had built an empire based on perfect appearances now didn't even have a reputation. Karma is not revenge. It's just a consequence. 6 months later, Clara was at Green Lake Park again, not for corporate racing, for personal training. She was back to running regularly, not to prove anything, just because I liked it. As he ran, he thought about everything that had happened, the humiliation in the parking lot, the cruel gamble, the race, the revelation, justice. She thought of all the people still facing what she had faced. Millions of people judged, diminished, discarded for bodies that didn't fit into standards invented by cruel people. And he thought about the lesson he had learned, the lesson he wanted everyone to know. Never let anyone define your worth by your body. Your value lies in your intelligence, your resilience, your dignity. And when someone underestimates you, don't fight for that person's validation. Just prove her wrong, and then move on. Because the best revenge is never to destroy the enemy. It's building a life so good that it becomes irrelevant. Clara completed the 10 kilometers. It stopped. He took a deep breath, smiled. Then he took out his cell phone and called his mother. Hi, Mom. I'm coming home. I'm going to make that lasagna you like. With extra cheese? With extra cheese. Clara put away her cell phone. He looked at the lake, at the trees, at the clear sky, and for the first time in years he felt something he had forgotten what it felt like. Peace. If you liked this story and want to see more inspiring twists, don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Your subscription helps us continue to bring you stories that show that justice and dignity always win in the end. And remember, never underestimate someone. You don't know the battle this person has already won just to get here.